Hey guys, it's your Best Fight Friends. I'm Kelsey, that's Rachel, and we're live! Saturday Night Live. Actually, it's Sunday morning. Do these people know when they put their cards together that it goes over into Sunday morning, Rachel, for the McCarsons? Because I'm not sure that they do.
I think that they do. Anyway.
Anywho.
Lots of boxing. We're going to talk about the
most important card of the night first,
event for us, which was...
Easily, you guessed it, Anderson Silva versus Julio Cesar Chavez.
But I think you mean at the start of the night, it was Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. facing Anderson Silva. Junior being the
co-main event of its own card. Regardless, the main event in our home
of this matchup. And yeah, so let's just talk about this a little bit because, I mean, here we go. I finally got to see an MMA person come into a boxing ring.
Shocked the world, Rachel,
and box. Like he looked like a boxer. Looked like
a boxer beating up a boxer at his own boxing game. I mean, it was hitting at the first round, and of course, if you don't know, Anderson Silva defeated Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. by split decision. Probably should have been unanimous. Whatever you say, it doesn't matter. The right guy won the fight. Anderson Silva won the fight. I thought in the first round, Julio Cesar Chavez looked like he had a lot heavier hands, and I was like, ruh-roh. And he looked like a boxer.
Know. Yeah, we didn't know how Silva was going to look coming into this.
But Silva's clean punches and the way that he kind of moved his hands, like
footwork.
He did it like he did when he was at his best in the UFC and in MMA. Man, he was like it's hard to explain how he moved around, but he did it in a box, sort of did it in a boxing ring.
It's like he took his MMA stuff, which I didn't get to see Silva in his heyday of MMA.
Kind of a long time
I saw him in his very last fight and inside the cage, and he didn't look so great in that fight. I mean, so much so that Dana White was like, "I'm done. Like, I'm not letting you fight again." Right? Isn't that what happened?
Yeah.
Okay. Dana White says a lot about his fighters, so
I didn't agree with it then.
Check that out with you. But yeah, it seems like when
now
I saw
I'm vindicated. Me and Anderson are vindicated.
Come into the boxing ring, not only did he seemed to be the better skilled boxer in there, and that's crazy, and better conditioned.
I'm just saying, MMA fans I've been looking forward to this day for a long time. When the guy from the MMA world, right? Because there haven't been that many opportunities. But where there have been, at least in recent years, it's not been great for the MMA fighter trying to box, right? Or the MMA fighter trying to box a YouTuber. That was horrible for MMA fans, right? So finally, score one for the good guys if you're an MMA fan. Anderson Silva defeated Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. And he looked really, really good.
He looked really good. Like, I couldn't believe it's actually getting to see an MMA guy who came in there and, like, I was like, he's a boxer. Like, he looks like a boxer. It looks like he's been doing this for years,
I must have forgot.
Here's one of my favorite things is when Silva was like, come on, fight. And backs himself up into the corner. It was like, come, fight. I was like...
Now, awesome. As you recall, Rachel, we can call both Anderson Silva and Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. friends of the show. We talked to both of them before their fight, about their fight.
Yeah.
And I talked to Chavez Jr. I told him when he was at his best, which was way a long time ago when he was at 160, he carried his hands up high and walked people down.
Yeah.
He did that in the first round.
Yeah.
He did not do that for the rest of the fight. Now, I don't know if he just abandoned it for whatever reason, if Silva was doing something that kept him from doing it. I don't know why he did that, but it's something that he hasn't been doing since he was beating Andy Lee, all those years ago. It was a long time ago now. But, man, I did think going in the fight, Anderson Silva, man, he had a chance. He really had a chance to win the upset, right? And he totally did it. He looked great. There's big fights coming for him. More money for Anderson Silva, right, than probably he made.
And he said
in a while.
His post-fight interview, he's going to be back soon.
Yeah, he'll be back soon.
There's any doubt.
YouTuber Jake Paul already invited Anderson Silva and Roy Jones Jr. to fight on the same card when he fights Tyron Woodley. There's another guy.
Silva tonight. I said to you earlier, I was like, ooh, he might beat Roy Jones.
He might beat Roy. Right, because we just saw Roy Jones. Now, Roy Jones was fighting Mike Tyson.
Huge difference.
It's hard to tell because, going into this fight, Anderson Silva was bigger than Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., right?
Yeah,
he was always bigger. Chavez started his career I mean, the bulk of his career at 160 pounds, and then he's moved up in the latter stages at 175. But Anderson Silva, he was a 185-pound champion, right, in UFC, and he fought up at 205. Yeah. Probably could have been the champion there had he chosen to do it. But now, so he had a chance. He was bigger, right, and a flow fighter. Man, he got into that flow. That's what I get into sometimes when I'm washing dishes or walking the dog.
I would like to just say this. I also... we've been, fans of Chavez Jr.
I love Chavez Jr.
Here's what I have to give props to this man for, is getting back inside the ring again when I don't know that he has to, but he does. And whether or not his reasons are his reasons for why he does things.
Why?
But to do the things that he does in the public eye, and he's been in the public eye since the start of his career, and to be, he's ridiculed a lot. And it seems like no matter what he does, he's always ridiculed. I do not envy anybody who's in that position. And so that kind of, I just want to say that I have respect for Chavez Jr. getting inside the ring again, fighting, whatever it is. Respect anybody who gets inside the ring and does that. And he fought all 8 rounds. And at that 8th round, the last round, they called him over to look at his cut in his eye. And he was like, hurry up and look. And he got back and he had a little bit of fire. And I started to see, maybe a little bit of that Chavez who fought Andy Lee. When you got Andy Lee to get in that brawl with him, a little bit of that. But, it was like a little bit it was just too late in the fight. But... man, excited for Silva. And really happy for him because the way that he speaks and the way that he talks, I can say that I admire the way that his outlook on life.
He's very positive.
And it was so, just hearing him talk out in his post-fight interview, because Canelo came and talked to him after the fight to congratulate him, and he was a little bit starstruck. He was like, I couldn't believe Canelo's talking to me, because he said he's followed Canelo's whole career.
Well, and he's super kind, right? He's one of the
he does seem that way, yeah.
superstars that his sport has ever seen. And I've talked to him twice, and both times I've talked to him, he's like real personable. I don't know, there's just there's just in my line of work, you talk to a lot of people, right? And people treat you different ways. You can really tell when somebody treats you with true kindness and whatever kind of word. It's like, I don't know, you're a person who matters.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He treats everybody, the story maker he treats everybody in his life that way. And I think that's a special quality that I really like in the rare times I see it in other people.
Yeah. Let's talk about, just stay with this card for a moment and talk about
Chavez.
Main event was Chavez Sr. And when I first heard about this, I was as shocked as I was to hear that Chavez, I know this is live. There was a bug on my foot. Okay.
That was the real main event of the night. Rachel's foot versus that bug.
Okay, let's see if I can gather my thoughts and come back here.
Chavez versus Hector Camacho Jr.
As shocked as I was that Chavez Jr. and Anderson Silva were fighting, because that came out of the blue. Yeah. And then I was like, oh, wait a minute. The main event is actually Chavez Sr. and Hector Camacho Jr. I didn't know what to expect for this, but hey, we bought this pay-per-view. And so we're
watching it.
We're watching it. And hey, Chavez Sr.
looked pretty good.
Came out. I was like, oh, he doesn't look like I was afraid he might look kind of frail. But he did not. He came out there and he looked like a good boxer. And
he looked like a great boxer. He looked like he had more skill. Who had the most skill out of all three Chavezes that you saw? Chavez Sr., Chavez Jr., Omar Chavez. It's pretty clearly and pretty easily Julio Cesar Chavez Sr., which is amazing.
Yeah, it was
he's like 1,000 years old.
I don't know.
I'm old and he's way older than me.
Why this was happening, I don't know why. necessarily he needed to fight Hector Camacho Jr. or vice versa, Camacho Jr.
I
told you earlier, I feel like this was a no-win situation for Camacho Jr. because he either loses to an old man or he beats up an old man. Like, I don't get what the thing is except for money, but I don't know how much money's involved in this kind of event. But hey, comment is Chavez Sr. looked not half bad, and hey, I might want to see him again in the ring.
I know. I want to see him fight whoever. I mean, it was pretty neat. It was just like for you to never seen him. I remember I did watch the Julio Cesar Chavez.
Oh, you did?
Senior fight.
So you've done something
when I was younger.
Canelo Alvarez have not done.
Because y'all are babies, I guess.
Canelo said that he was grateful to see Chavez Sr. in like real time. Yeah.
But yeah. But anyway,
he looked really good. Yeah.
Yeah, he looked really great. Awesome car. I'm so glad we got it. Because you know what? Circumstances would have been like, no, there's too much on. There's other fights on, and those are on free. You already pay for those. Don't buy the pay-per-view. And I was like, listen, we're buying this pay-per-view. And we did it, Rachel, and it was totally worth it.
It was. It was really, really fun. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And then just to comment real quickly on the other fights, because there were other kind of big fights on tonight. We had a Charlo inside the ring. Defending his title, and so he won, and then did, of course...
This is the Charlo that goes to the Restore place that we go to as well, okay. Rachel. Hyper Health is what it is. We know all the stuff he does there.
Hyper Wellness.
Gets in a hyperbaric chamber, maybe. We do cryotherapy. They're all sort of cool stuff. He's the Restore Charlo, the big Charlo, younger Charlo by a minute, if I remember my Charlo facts. But he won his fight tonight to defend his title in 160 pounds. And that dude that he fought...
Montiel. I don't know if that's how you say his name,
way tougher fight than everybody expected.
Yes. Like it was...
I'm sure Jermall.
Yeah, I mean, it was a decision. And I thought several times that this guy was going to be out. But no, he's like... Tough. He was tough and a fighter, and I have I just love that, right? Like he was just like in there, and like he wasn't going out, like no matter. And
cagey.
Jermall at the end of it, like he was kind of swollen and puffed up because he got hit a lot in this fight. Now I don't know if that's because he just decided I'm willing to get hit because he knew he could take the guy's punches, or it wasn't his intent. The other guy was like good that he was landing his punches. The other guy just didn't have enough power.
Yeah, well, and I think it looked like Jermall was trying to get him out of there a lot, and so when you do that, you open yourself up to more counters, and that's what I was doing, was counter him. So I like that. I like all that. I think it was good for his opponent, but also good for Jermall to be in a fight like that too. Like it helps him, and he won the fight, kept the belt.
And then
and it was fun to watch too. Even though it was one-sided, it was fun to watch. It was
I still thought it was fun too. Called out Triple G, Canelo, of course. Now Canelo is now in.
Meanwhile, in Mexico.
Yeah, right. He's in Mexico.
Canelo
enjoying just living his best life there.
The adopted son of Julio Cesar Chavez. He's Canelo Chavez Jr. Is that how it would work?
I don't know.
I don't think that's how it would work. I'm sleeping.
Anyway. The other fight tonight was the monster, right?
Yeah, Naoya Inoue.
Which you were writing, so you didn't get to catch this in real time. But Inoue...
This is very first seeing it. Yes,
Inoue, I love a liver shot. I'll tell you that. Like, it's a pretty awesome shot in boxing.
You also love a liver pate, though.
I do. But he liver shot, and the guy, he just hits the ground, and he's just there's not a lot you can do when you get hit with that liver shot like that. But I saw 2 of these shots. I heard while I was watching Chavez Sr. there was so much going on. I think maybe there were 3 liver shots, I'm not sure, but anyway, once again wins. And it's fun, right? Because he's fast, he's small, wiry guys, but he's got power,
Yeah, he's one of the, I think last pound for pound list I looked at, he was up near the top, maybe even number 2. Anyway, he's that good. He's already won world titles in 3 different weight classes.
Yeah, they showed the pound for pound list, and he was up near the top.
Yeah, I was looking at the Boxing Writers Association American pound for pound list, which I I've only voted in it once. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I always look at it like I'm gonna vote, and then I'm like, think about this later.
And then you never return to it.
Yeah, but I did read it.
Okay. Back to the fight. This is what we're commenting on. Not
Naoya,
Kelsey's
anyway.
work habits. Anyway, yeah. Again, it was just a really fun night, and we didn't even watch all the boxing for the whole day. We missed I missed the DAZN card. Props to Gabriel Rosado, right?
Yeah.
Veteran fighter scoring a knockout there. And then I missed the UFC card today. So I missed most of that. I saw a little bit of the main event, but not a lot of that. It was just a really full day of combat sports. But, yeah, highlight of our night was Chavez.
Easily, it was Anderson Silva and Chavez
Well, I just
Jr.
mean like that event.
You mean the whole event? It was amazing. We need more of those events, Rachel. You know what else we need more of? Live streams. With
bugs crawling on Rachel's foot?
With, what's our show called? Whatever our show is called.
Real Talk with Kelsey and Rachel.
When Kelsey's sleepy, he stops making sense. But you know what does make sense?
All right.
Liking, commenting, and subscribing to Real Talk with Kelsey and Rachel. What? We got to do that more. We got to get them more. Hit that button. Hit.
All right. Next time, guys.